computer. Two. Welcome to the Love and Action Show with me, Alpa Soni. Today, I'm excited to be discussing a very, very special subject close to my heart, the 1111 Great Awakening Code. I have Charlie Wolf back on the show. He's no stranger on the Love and Action Show. Back in 2020, we had him on and his book went like absolutely viral. He was on with Charlie Ward. And there was so much that people got from that show. And we did another one about 6 months ago, I think 6 months to 8 months ago. And this is part two. I am so happy to have my good friend Jaclyn Simone here with me. And Nick needs no introduction. So before I introduce Charlie, Nick, over to you. How you doing?
Me, I'm good. I'm great. Life's awesome. I'm regenerating my health. I am just building up for 2024. That's kind of like what I'm doing. It's kind of like I'm building a ship, and the end of this year has been building and getting ready to use this ship for all of 2024, which is pretty cool.
I'm flying on that ship. I can.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you got first class.
I know. Yes. Jaclyn, you've bought the book and you're doing some amazing things. Lovely to have you back on. What's going on with you?
That's for a whole nother podcast, but yeah, I have the book. I love this book. I was just letting everybody know this book came into my life at like the perfect time. And Alpa had just casually mentioned that this book existed, and the fact that it was just called 1111 code, that's been my number that has followed me my entire life. I always knew it meant something, and then she mentioned this book. I'm like, well, I'm gonna buy that book. Bought it. I think it came the next day. I started reading it that very day, and it was just melting of the brain. Truly, and I'm halfway through. It's a read. It is a read, and I have 4 kids, so reading is hard. But it is so good. It is so good, and I want this in as many people's hands as possible who are on this type of journey. I mean, I think it's for everybody, but especially for those who are seeking and know that something is happening and like, what is this that's happening? This book really ties that together.
Absolutely. And we're hitting the 1111 portal. Many call it the portal, the date. There's so many associations to the number 1111. I started seeing that number in 2015, and my mother gently told me, well, Alpa, you're born at that time. So I was like blown away because it's like, what is this number saying to me? And when I saw Charlie's book titled The Great Awakening Code, well, isn't it appropriate, especially on the journey that I embarked over these 3 years, you know, the Great Awakening numbers? What does it mean? Why am I seeing 22 everywhere? 11, 11, 22. What does it all mean? There's a lot of woohoo stuff going on out there about the number. You just type in that on Instagram or any of the socials, and there's so much information. So Charlie offers a real practical guide to his own personal experiences. So, Charlie, I've been excited to speak to you. And as we play this on the 1111, I think people will be really excited. So how have you been? And tell us everything. How's things with you?
Well, first of all, Alba, thanks again for hosting all of us. It's always a pleasure and an honor to be on board with you. And Jaclyn, it's such an honor to meet you. And Nick, same. I really appreciate meeting you, and I think we're going to do great things, all of us together. Yeah, I'm really excited about this meeting here. I'll have to be honest with you, the last 3 months have been very, very challenging. Pretty much ever since I published the book in 2020, I've been just hit with barrages of just one hit after another from the dark side. From divorce to losing jobs to medical things happening to me recently. And I just got to look to my friends, people like Alpa, my fiance, my family. I've really, the spirit and God has given me the power to get through all these challenges and show me the path. But I don't think anybody that's involved in light work can say that it's been easy.
No, certainly. And I thank you for sharing that and being so vulnerable, because we can all attest to that. We're on so many different journeys, and our personal growth has been tested in these 3 years. People who are speaking up in whichever way they can. So you've written a book. We've had podcasts, Nick's making documentaries, Jaclyn speaking up a lot on her social media about pertinent subjects that are getting everyone kind of like, punched in the face somehow, metaphorically speaking. So it's important that we share this and we understand that we're not alone, but carry on doing the light work, carry on being that strong warrior that you are. And I'm so glad that you reached out to me, because what you've got in this book is so, so powerful and a real great take. So I want people to see you, Charlie. I want you to be seen and appreciated and valued. And I think this is a good documentary in the making. Hint, hint, Nick.
Absolutely. I know. We've talked about that.
Yeah,
That's
they're
going to
awesome.
happen. Mhm.
So yeah, you've been traveling, you've been creating your YouTube podcasts, and I think let's just start off with just showing our audience where they can find you, what you're doing on your social media, and then
Okay.
let's deep dive straight into what you've been doing in Israel.
Sounds good. So I'll go ahead and share my screen then. And I'm going to take you a couple different quick sites here.
And while you do that, everyone, all of the
Sure.
information for Charlie, for Jaclyn, for Nick is going to be in the description below. So you can find everything that you need to know. So here we have your YouTube channel.
Okay, I'm just going back to basic YouTube home screen here. You can type in at THE1111CODE, and then go away. So just type that in. Great, that takes you right there. And click on me right there.
Okay, perfect.
And most important, the biggest way you can help me and give back is to hit that subscribe button. You can't believe how much that makes a difference, even just one person. Let's see here. You can see here I've got playlists. That's going to be where all the action's at. I've got educational stuff. I've got 70s, 80s, 90s music, shamanic music, relaxing music. I've got tours from all over different countries, Egypt, Morocco. I got mathematics videos. Israel's probably of the most interest right now. Let's see here. I've got, I think, 46 videos in here. Oh, come on, cooperate. All right. Slow down, Wolf.
Hello from Jerusalem, Israel. I got a day off work from the South Beach Power Station, and I decided to come to the old
I
city.
think I'm moving too
and,
fast here.
I'm on the roof
Sorry, guys.
of the Austrian
That's
hostel.
okay.
It's a little,
That's cool. You get to
Let's
see
try this one more
little
time.
known gem in the city.
Looks like he's playing at the bottom corner.
I want to show you what it looks like from the roof. Check this out.
Okay.
There we go at the bottom. Yeah, you can see it on the
Yeah.
bottom.
So anyways, just play around with that. For those that might be interested in getting the book, I'll pull up Google here.
And the link will be below, so you can just go and buy it.
Watch
That's,
this here.
what you did, Jaclyn, right?
Yeah, I did. I got it on Amazon.
So you can just type in Google 1111 code and I come up right there. Same for Amazon.
Charlie, can they buy it through your website, or is it only
At the moment, no. It's coming, but at the moment, no.
Okay, so you can just
So again, this is Amazon, so you can go 1111 code, and it'll come right up. I think I've had a lot of, it's been selling like hotcakes lately. So there's the top result there. So that's that.
look how many 222.
Oh,
Look at the
you
number.
do.
March 22nd, 2020.
That's the crazy
Again?
part right there, because you published this on March 22nd, 2020. That's around the time I made my first movie, and that's around the time Alpa was doing her first podcast. Like, that's when all of us started doing something.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was my birthday.
Oh, cool. 322.
Yeah, I see Martian on your shirt. Did you know, based on NASA's website, that as the Earth and Mars orbit the sun, they have kind of like two different elliptical racetracks, with the Earth going faster and Mars going more slowly because it's further away. every once in a while, the two racers get close to each other. And then sometimes, another time, they have the sun between them and they're as far apart as they're ever going to be. When they're the closest together, it takes electromagnetic energy, whether it's light, radar, X-rays, infrared, any sort of electromagnetic radiation takes 3 minutes when they're at their closest pass. And when they're at their opposition with the sun between them, it takes 22 minutes, 11 plus 11 minutes for electromagnetic energy to pass between those two planets. Mars.
Wow, that's cool. That's crazy.
Another fun thing about Mars is the largest mountain in all the solar system, Mount Olympus, is 22 kilometers high.
Wow.
Yeah.
I knew 20
That's-
was just.
And also the largest storm in the solar system, the Great Spot on Jupiter, it has a declination. It's 22 degrees south of the Jovian equator.
Wow, and my life path number is 22.
11 plus 11, brother.
Yeah, and Alpha's 1, born in 11/11. That's so
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get that presentation?
Yeah, so you've been in Israel and the Gaza border, and it's quite a relevant subject at the moment. And I just want to kind of put a disclaimer out there that there's so many different discussions going on about this very subject. And I think, Charlie, you're going to give us your kind of take on what's been going on, but with your experience working out there, right? What was it like? What was going on for you there, and when did you go?
It's interesting. I've spent 9 months working in Israel. I've worked on a sum total of 46% of the national power grid capacity, working on the large turbine generators at the powerhouses. So basically 1 out of every 2 lights I've pretty much affected in that country. And I've been there 7 different visits, and as God would have it, there's never been any sort of conflict when I was there. When I left, pretty much when the wheels tucked into the belly of the airplane taking off from Tel Aviv in 2021, that's when the 6-day war kicked off. Like within hours it kicked off. It's almost like it held it back. I just got canceled for 2 projects in Israel. One that was to happen in November down on the Red Sea. That got canceled by my company. So God's got a mysterious way of protecting me and guarding me with his great hand. To keep me away from the trouble. Like he put me in there at the peaceful times to do peaceful work, and then he got me out of there. But yeah, I got some pictures from, I got as close to the Gaza border as I legally could. The power station I worked at, I'll show pictures in a minute here, but yeah, there were bullet holes in the turbine building wall, like a constellation of stars, but it's bullet holes with the sun shining through.
Wow. How'd you feel out there? What was like the vibe?
I felt welcomed. I felt respected. I felt protected. I'm from Chicago. I'm in Chicago right now. So what does that tell you? it's just as dangerous here as Gaza as far as I'm concerned. Chirac.
That's true. Iraq. Oh my gosh. That's funny, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've worked at some pretty tough places, Iraq, Algeria, Kazakhstan, and it's, God's protected me.
Absolutely.
Everywhere I've gone.
You come back at an appropriate time, especially with what's going on right now.
For sure.
Yeah, especially like making a book like the 11/11 code.
Yeah, can you see that?
That's like,
You see the sort of synchronicity, even if it may not seem great at the time, and it throws you off on various tangents and different paths. You can start seeing that the crisis turns to be a blessing.
Yeah.
So you have the presentation that you want to start off with. I think it was your time when you were working at the power plant, right?
Yeah, that's I've never been to Israel for tourism. It's always been for work. So I'll go ahead and screen share then.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, start the.
Ready? Here we come.
You're ready.
All right, let's see here.
I know Nick.
How do I do this?
Ready for you.
Sorry, it's going to take me a second. I got to navigate.
No, that's fine.
All right.
Okay.
Wait, hold on a second. Let me toss a log on.
Oh.
So this is the presentation that we've all been looking forward to, and I think I'll need to watch this again myself to really absorb it all in, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that Charlie's going to share with us. Take it away, Charlie.
All right. So, spoiler alert, this is kind of the punchline of the book. This is my biggest discovery of writing the book. As I was digging into what does 1111 mean, I'm like, I kind of relied on my mathematics background. And I started to think like this ancient Sumerians thought when they were doing things like degrees, minutes, and seconds of arc. Everything's based 60. Our time is based on 60 minutes, 60 seconds. So I started thinking in that way, how many minutes and seconds are in 1111? And I took the example, 11 hours times 60 minutes per hour gives you 660. 660 plus 11 is 671. And I thought to myself, that's not that interesting, whatever. But then later in the book, like 5 chapters later, I'm writing about the speed of light, and it's 671 million miles an hour. I'm like, oh, wait a second. Ding, ding, ding. It's a code of light, just like we've been told by all the yoga people and, all these people that are new age, they've known it instinctively, but this is the mathematical proof that it's a code of light. Think about that.
I know, right? Look at that.
So much.
Nuts.
It brings me joy. It brings me
I
such
knew it. The code of light.
So yeah, speed of light, 671 million miles an hour. Can't beat it. Couldn't be any clearer. Today I'm in beautiful Beach Park, Illinois, and it happens to be 11 degrees right now centigrade. And between 2 and 3, it's going to be 11:11. That's a screenshot from my phone today. How about that?
Wow.
I love it when Charlie does this, because he always does it in preparation for a show. And the synchronicities, you just can't make it up. Are they just coincidences? Is it just, it's God talking?
I find it interesting to switch my weather app to centigrade, because you get a lot more of 11s, 22s, and 33s if you're somewhere like Phoenix.
Okay.
You get a lot more synchronicities that way. So
Pretty nuts too that it shows that sunny conditions from 4 to 7, and 4 and 7 is 11.
Nice.
Hey.
So 11 all over it.
We're vibing.
Yeah.
So, this is a trip. I was recently in Spain working at a nuclear station, and I had a day off, so I drove down to Gibraltar, and I started seeing the kilometers like 1107, 1108, 1109. I'm like, oh, I think I see a pattern. So I said, come hell or high water, I'm pulling over. I don't care if there's no shoulder, I'm pulling over and getting a picture with that side at 11. There it is.
Nice.
I still do that every day when I see 11:11. I get excited. And just today, a friend of mine said, you just happened to call me missed call from Alpa Soni at 11:11 today.
That's so cool. Yeah. It's 65 degrees in Nashville right now. That's 11.
That
Love
is.
this. I told some friends I did a voice recording that I was coming on to do this show today. I sent it to them at 11:11, and the voice note that I left them was 1 minute and 1 second.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I was like,
wow.
yeah.
You probably didn't notice
Dope.
until after you hung up, right?
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, I just sent that to you, and at 11:11, and it was 1 minute and 1 second that I explained, about you. I was explaining about you, the book, and coming on to the show today.
Yeah, I think the thing with the whole 11:11 thing, it's more than a game. It's more than something cute. If you look at example, like getting good at the basic 4 functions, adding, subtracting, dividing, multiplying, like just getting good at the raw math. Look at how many other things you can do with that. You can be an accountant, you can be a biologist, you can be a scientist, you can be a teacher, on and on and on. And that's the same thing with synchronicity. If you can learn to synchronize with other people through numbers, that opens the pathway, the roadway and infrastructure for you to synchronize with them in real life too.
Absolutely. Jaclyn,
Yeah.
that explains everything.
Me and you, babe.
So this picture here is Tel Aviv airport during COVID lockdown. The airport was completely and utterly shut down. They had like 18 passport stamp places with a little window and the cops and stuff. Completely blacked out. They were allowing 2 flights per weekend, a Tuesday flight from Newark, New Jersey, and a Thursday from Newark. That was it.
Wow.
You were only getting into Israel if you had a legitimate reason to work there. or if you're Israeli citizen with a good reason. They weren't letting Israelis drive on their own roads. I happen to have a passport with that says expert visa, technical expert visa that allows me to drive through the streets unimpeded. But I had to go through a total of 31 days of quarantine for the 4 visits during COVID. The first one was 12 days of solitary confinement, 0 human contact.
Whoa.
What?
So this is the power station I worked at in Caesarea. You see the chimneys; those are 980 feet tall, 300 meters tall, and they make a great big 11-11 in the sky. And I'm standing on the main north-south highway, the superhighway that goes up the Mediterranean coast north and south. And you can see behind me, there's not a car in sight. Nobody's allowed on the roads, and I'm just going to work.
Is this picture in your book somewhere? Why do I feel like I've read?
No, this happened. All this Israel stuff happened immediately,
now?
like 3 months after I published. I'm getting ready to make a sequel called King for One Day. Life inside of Israel's lockdown.
Oh, wow.
Do you see the temperatures for Caesarea? Is it blocked?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. I see our faces are over it.
No,
Okay.
no.
There it is. 22.
22.
Yeah. There.
Insane.
So it's pretty remarkable. It is almost scary lonely there. Now this is my most recent and last project in Israel. This is at Rutenberg Power Station, named after I don't know how you pronounce it, Pinhas, Pinhas. Pinhas Rutenberg was a Jewish man that back in I believe in the 20s, he started what was called the Palestinian Electric Company, which was Israel's first source of electric power and light. So this is the largest power station in Israel. It burns coal that's brought in from places like Peru, South Africa, other places, far-flung places. It's situated 3 kilometers north of the Gaza border, as shown in the map. And you can see that farm of oil tanks there at the tip of the yellow arrow there. You can see one of them's burned out. Shortly after I left, a rocket attack from Gaza took out one of those tanks. It holds about 800,000 gallons of fuel oil as an emergency backup fuel. One day I took a walk on Zikim Beach to the left. Zikim is Hebrew for lights, lights beach. I walked as close as I could to the border. I've got some pictures there. That's outside the plant with my armor plate. I got about 30 pounds of armor plate and the plate carrier vest.
Wow.
Dang.
That's for outside the plant. Inside the plant, armor is not required. This is at the Gaza border here. Not a real welcoming place.
Right? Look at that.
Uh,
Wow.
One thing I did do is I stopped just short of the border. You can see in the background there, behind the rocks, you can see that jetty that sticks out. And you see all the barbed wire. That's as far as I felt comfortable going. But I drew that peace symbol in the sand, and I sat there and said a prayer for the people of Israel and for the people of Gaza, for peace and for love and for understanding.
All right. Charlie, if you would have walked up to that fence, would you fear your life? Would they be trying to kill anybody that would try and do that?
I'm not sure. Probably not. I might have got questioned. The intelligence services might have put a tag on my on my GPS and watch me very closely to see if I'm looking at other stuff. They might tunnel into my phone and see what I'm taking pictures of. I just don't want to find out the hard way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's very derelict.
Now, this is the view from outside the turbine deck, or actually from the roof of the boiler building at the Rutenberg Power Station, looking down to the border, shown in red.
Wild.
You've seen some stuff. Just going reading halfway. I'm like I said, I'm about halfway through your book, and it's just pretty incredible the things that you've seen, the places you've been. there was the one story that you gave about it was like they like had to throw you on the back of the pickup truck and whisk you away because you were like in danger. And I'm like, this guy's like lived a life.
Yeah, it ain't over yet. It's painful, believe me. It's not all fun and games. We're not going to the Club Med spots, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So how do you think numerology has played like a role in your experiences in the Holy Land?
Well, I'm going to show some slides that quantify this, but I think the most interesting thing is that the Hebrew language, it consists of a 22-letter alphabet. 11 plus 11 letters comprises this ancient, I mean, God knows, what is it, 6,000, 3,000 years old, millennia old alphabet that's, you know, so much religious stuff is based on, so many belief systems are based on. You know, I think that was a major discovery. I find that creeps its way into the construction of buildings. It's 22 is the last letter. It's the last letter is the 22nd letter. And I think that when people are building, for example, high-rise buildings, there's a tendency to have a lot of buildings that have 22 floors, because that's, to them, that's subconsciously, without them realizing it, that's completion. They've reached the end. They've reached the top.
Oh, wow.
Oh, by the way,
pretty
you see that tower here?
Yeah.
That has all kinds of sophisticated radars that sit there and they pan the sky, they scan, they do three-dimensional volume scan routines of the sky looking for threats. They've got all these advanced electromagnetics up there, laser scans, everything. That's part of the Iron Dome system.
Oh.
Wow.
So there's the detection aspect, that's the detection aspect, and then there's the reaction, you know, the missiles aspect. Yeah, there's bomb shelters throughout the site here.
So that's on Israel's side, and that would technically be responsible for like the paragliders that came over that border. That thing would have been responsible for seeing that.
Most likely, yeah. I'm sure they would. I'm sure they've got optical band cameras up there. But yeah, Zakim Beach, if you look at the news, Zakim Beach is where those guys landed, and that's the beach right there.
What?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
was wondering, holy smokes, because
It's
they
right there.
came through there. Wow. They probably walked on your peace sign if it was still there,
Yeah.
you know? Wow. Holy
Ready for more?
moly. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
do more.
Actually, what's the state of this place right now? Has it been damaged at all? Do you know?
I
Of
emailed some of my contacts at the plant, and I didn't really ask about the plant. I asked about their families, and all
Cool.
their families are safe, but they're very rattled. This is not a happy time for Israel.
Oh, look at that power plant, man.
Yeah, she puts out 2.5 billion watts of power. And it gets output into the 400,000 volt main backbone power grid of the system that runs north and south. There's another similarly large plant in the north at Caesarea.
Are those the only two, or how many power plants do they've got?
I think they've got about 18. This and Caesarea are the two big ones, and the rest is mostly gas turbines, basically great big jet engines. They're big compared to jet engines, but they're small compared to these steam turbines.
That is wild.
Here's the size of this is inside the plant. On the left, this is the generator that I was working on. It's about 600 million watts, and this is the turbine driving it. And there's a size of a person for comparison.
Damn, bro, that is insane. That's a lot of power.
Yeah, you're looking at about 300,000 homes worth of power right there. They're connected to the obviously the Israel system. They tie into Lebanon, they tie into Jordan, and it ties into Gaza as well.
Ties into Gaza. Whoa.
The funny thing is, the Hamas guys have a nice habit of shooting at these power stations, thinking that it's not gonna affect their power too.
But no, I was just gonna say, what's the state of these power stations right now? Are they under, like, I feel like I read something just like a couple hours ago about these power stations, something happened or trying or attempted or something.
Well, one in Gaza went up in smoke, from what I understand. They bombed one in Gaza, the one power station they had.
Yes. Okay. This is what it was. I literally feel like I just read it like right before we got on here, and I was like, wait, what is happening?
So,
Yeah.
so what's
Oh,
interesting is
22.
these are the big I call them wires. They're actually isophase bus that brings the power out of the generator. They're about 4 feet in diameter. These are the wires coming out of the belly of these beasts going out to the transformer. And it's 22,000 volts coming off the machine. 22,000. This is the electrical backbone of this country. And then plus 11.
I can't wrap my head around 22,000 volts, but whatever.
It's 100 times the voltage of what's coming into your house mains.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't even. Yeah, it's just wild. I'm thinking like blow dry my hair with 22,000 volts.
Well, you could
What's
power
a
a
bolt?
city with that. Sorry.
What's a bolt of lightning? Do you know?
They estimate 5 million volts on up. It depends on the cloud formation, the geometry of it, how much charge is on the ground below it.
Wow. Has anyone actually like gotten severely hurt on accident while you've been working or in these plants?
Not due to high voltage. There's guys that have been whacked with shock during high voltage testing, but it was non-lethal.
Right. Yeah, because if some
Didn't
people can
involve me.
survive lightning strikes, they could probably survive that.
Yeah, electricity is funny like that.
Wow. Oh,
That's
shit.
a big slugging wrench. That's a slugging wrench for slugging off 5-inch nuts off turbine casings. So this is inside that unit I just showed you. Working on the spiritual heart of Israel electrical heart of Israel. And then I went to the spiritual heart of Israel at the right to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And I thought the images looked surprisingly similar. I thought it was cool.
Wow.
That's no coincidence.
No, not at
No.
all.
No way. No way.
Wild. Whoa.
I love
That's a
this.
trip. Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah.
It looks like
What is all of that on the left? How does that generate? I don't know much about how energy's generated, but are these like copper coils all around you, or what is
Yeah.
all- yeah?
The tan, you see this kind of a basket here. These are the windings. If you look at like an electric motor off of a car or a fan motor, it's all the same except that these black hoses, these black Teflon hoses, they supply liquid water, deionized water inside these windings at 22,000 volts. But water and electricity don't mix, right? They do as long as you supply it through a non-conductive tube and the water is deionized. That takes the conductivity out of it. So now the water insulates and you can cool the inside of the windings with it.
That's like it's oil.
Yeah, there are a few oil-cooled machines, but the vast majority are cooled with water and hydrogen gas.
All right. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, if you didn't do the liquid cooling, instead of having a winding that's the cross section of your wrist, you'd have something that you couldn't wrap your arms around because it would just get too hot.
Exactly.
So,
you're on a CERN project.
yeah,
I was thinking.
we pumped up the winding system with helium gas, and then we put plastic bags on the suspected leak areas, and then we checked with a mass spectrometer to see if there was any helium presence, to see if there was any leaks. That's what we were doing there.
Cool.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I was like, it looks like there's plastic bags wrapped around pieces
Yeah,
of
that's
this.
yeah.
I thought I
Yeah,
was gonna be like dumb saying that, but okay, I was right.
No, these are just temporary. I want to say one other
Yeah.
thing. This hand shot here. What I do wherever I go, whether it's Israel or Egypt or Iraq or anywhere US, I always put my hands on the machine when it's running, and I say a prayer for everybody that's at the other end of the wires, which is the whole country. Bless these people, heal these people, keep them safe, including the Gaza people, the Jordanian people, the Israel people. Bring love and light to all these people. Amen. That's what I do wherever I go.
Nice,
You're
dude.
awesome.
Blessing it.
You're awesome.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Do it,
No one
man.
really does that. That's beautiful.
No, I was
Messengers
gonna
of
say,
love and light.
you think do stuff like that on their job where they're working on things that are integral for the masses to survive. And I bet you not many. I bet you cannot find many people that do that.
That's my little red Jeep on a job in Texas, just compared to the size of these machines here.
Wow.
Whoa.
Where is this?
That's in Texas. That's a 900 million watt machine. Anyways, just for fun.
No big deal.
And these are the wires coming out of it, going into the 345,000 volt transformer up there.
Oh, wow.
There's be at the Spain nuclear plant. That's the control room.
That's
Whoa.
sweet. Looks like,
It's Star
looks like
Trek.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah.
Place is really
That's dope.
So cool.
Wow.
That's the 400,000 volts coming out of Israel, out of the Israel plant.
Wow.
That's how it gets distributed?
Yep, that's how they transmit it to all corners of the country. That's kind of a super highway, if you will, for electrons. That's my little car down here, my rental car.
Wow.
That
And that
was
kinda-
snapping. What?
It's kind of like an 1111 if you look at them to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing as that someone or
Yeah.
someone.
Uh-huh.
So this is at another plant in Tel Aviv, Israel. I think this was the year 22. This was my security detail.
Oh, wow.
Usually they won't let you take a
What's
picture,
going on with
but
your
this,
shirt? This is awesome.
that's
God.
Maxwell's equations.
How cool. Did you
Mm.
make that shirt? Did you have that made?
No, I special ordered. I mean, I ordered it off the web. You
I
can
love that.
Maxwell's equations T-shirt. It's basically everything we know about electricity and magnetism and radio waves and cell phones and all that stuff boils down to those 4 equations at some level.
This is in your book too. Don't you talk about this in your book, or am I
Yeah, it's
hallucinating?
it's in one of the latter chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I read it. When I first got it, I was zipping through it, and I feel like I read that. I stopped on that. That's funny.
Nice. Yeah, it's beautiful. A lot of people get intimidated by math when they see math. They freeze. I'm math. But just look at it like any other art. You don't have to understand what the artist is doing to understand the art, to appreciate the art.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this is the original. This is the very first electrification that Israel had. This is when it was the Palestine Electric Light Company. This is a reading station, READING reading station in Tel Aviv, and right down here by this lighthouse. Today there's some kind of a statue or a stele that is a monument to the war against the Turkish in World War II. So you can see there, and there's me at the same place. And they're using camels to build the place, 1938. There you
Oh,
go.
wow. You've lived a life, man.
Yeah.
How old are you, Charlie?
I'm 48.
Okay. You don't look 48. You look great.
I feel 58.
Yeah,
You
no,
don't
you look like
look-
you're 38, bro.
not look
You
40.
look,
You look
You guys are too
38.
kind. You guys are
yeah,
too
you
kind.
look
No,
my
you do.
age,
I'm
man.
dead serious.
You got no
You're too kind.
wrinkles. Well, yeah, when I'm 48, I might look like Tommy Lee Jones with all my wrinkles.
Come on, man.
Oh, man.
There's a shot inside. You could just about play a good game of chess or go on the floor, you know?
Awesome.
I managed to get a tour in there. It's got asbestos in there, but I begged the plant manager. I begged like 3 different people. Just let me walk in there once. Let me get a couple pictures. I have to see this. Like, well, we're really not supposed to take you, but they did anyways.
Sweet. That building looked like out of its norm for the year 1938. Kind of looked like ahead of its time.
Yeah, it was kind of an Art Deco look, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks unique.
Yeah, it was definitely a highlight of one of the highlights of my career for sure. I read about it. It was legendary. I mean, these are the very first machines that ever turned lights on in the country of Israel, period. This is where it all started.
Oh. And just like goes to show like how much the majority of people just take for granted, like how much goes into what you were a part of doing, and the science, the math, the just the intelligence that like goes behind what, and it's just simple as power, as simple, that we just take for granted every single day, all day.
That's true. And, a lot of things are like that. I mean, you look at people that do service MRI machines and CAT scans. That stuff's way more mathematical than what we do. Look at the technology goes into cell phones, copying machines. I mean, there's a lot that goes into stuff, into these things.
Yeah.
And
But here's
before there
that-
was like lights at night, I mean, a lot of religions are based off of trying to depict with stories the battle versus dark and light, but really it's like night and day, the relationship between night and day. People were so scared of the dark, the evil, because when the sun goes down, you don't know what's out there. It's a very dangerous world at night. And to bring that kind of light to a city or to the world, it changes everything, in good and bad ways.
Interesting point.
Good point. Yeah. Didn't think of it like that.
Yeah.
This is that, I guess you would call it a stele, or monument, whatever you want to call it. But this is, if you look behind me, the plant's right there. This is the Yarkon River coming out from Tel Aviv. So it's a monument to the Turkish, or the war against the Turkish, I guess World War I, 1917. Thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So can I ask you, I mean, I know you do talk about this in your book, but can I ask you, just because obviously people that are going to be watching this, you didn't always, you started your career not having the awakening, if you will, that you had as far as the numbers. Like what was the pivotal moment in time that kind of sparked, pun intended, that this way of thinking for you?
Well, that's a good question. It's an interesting answer. I'd never used any drugs in my life until 41. At age 41, my marriage was kind of falling into the ditch, and I was feeling helpless. I'd been to every flavor of counseling you can imagine. I've gone to therapists, hypnotists, anything you can imagine. I've tried self-help, watching YouTube videos, books, on and on. Nothing was working. And you know what? I decided to go and give ayahuasca a try. I became a member of the Native American Church in Kentucky, AyaQuest, AYAQUEST. They did a special on Vice a couple of years after I went there. You could find AyaQuest Kentucky ayahuasca on YouTube. They've got 8 episodes, which is really interesting, by the way. But you know what? That ended up being, it says in the Bible something to the effect, if you want to have eternal life, you must die first. And that was really the surrender point in my life, where I surrendered to nature's medicine and let it show me what he wanted to show me. And it took me into some dark corners of my psyche and showed me, this is what this stuff looks like, deal with it. And it gave me that shiny mirror that I needed to start polishing myself and start changing some things. And it really showed me the light. It showed me that there really is a creative, loving spirit in the universe that wants to help us, but we have to seek it.
Wow. Yes.
So I'm not saying everybody should run out and go get a glass full of ayahuasca. I'm not for everybody, but
You've got to be called to it.
That was my path.
You went through the dark night of the soul, and it's your version of your spiritual awakening, and that curiosity, that adversity, and that crisis led you to that inadvertent blessing. But it was a process, and going right through the dark, because if you don't experience that darkness, you don't know. You live a linear life, just that linear life, going through life, grow up, go to school, go to uni, in the matrix, get married, and just live that sort of linear life. This is an interception from God. The creativity that you were gifted with, you had to revel in the darkness. And I can attest to that. And I know Nick and Jaclyn have their own stories, but it's that polarity. And it's that polarity that takes us to that synthesis where you can come to that state of neutrality and that calibration within. But you have to experience the two polar opposites to synthesize that and come to that experience. And it's a journey for you. And it's the curiosity that comes through, like all your experiences, asking for questions. And of course, the work that you're doing is it's intricate. I mean, look at the detail that he has in his book. I mean, I'm loving this chapter that you've got. It's right at the beginning about the number of 12 and 13. And just the findings that you have. It's just stuff that he has in the book. Are they weird coincidences? He's factually just putting them there. And you're like, there is so much depth in this world that we haven't even experienced a salt grain.
Agreed. And you know, with painful situations, struggles in life, the only way out is through. You have to go through it. You can't avoid the pain. Otherwise, life's just going to put you in another circumstance with the same pain, just in a different frame.
Yeah. So I know Jaclyn's kind of strapped for time. She'll be leaving us shortly, but she's got a few questions for you, and then we can continue the present. Is there quite a bit of the presentation that you wanted to share? Because we can carry on with that, but I know Jaclyn has.
Yeah, let's do Jaclyn.
Well, I do. This was kind of like a rogue thing that I just want to say, and obviously touch on. Feel free. My journey is I was very Christian. I was nothing. I always believed in God, and then I went really down the Christian rabbit hole, if you will, and was subscribing to the very dogmatic aspects of Christianity. And then, you know, maybe about a year ago, I've stepped more into that, just the spiritual side, the mystical side of Christianity, if you will, and Christ, and what we are and our creator. And what I think is what I was saying to you, that really your book came to me in the best time, is because I've been in that transitional period. And what I love about this book, and why I really want people to read this book, is because I think there's a lot of people out there that struggle with their walk with Christ, because I think they feel this pull towards New Age, right? And then they're afraid of these New Age concepts, which it's all hijack and inversion, right? And they're afraid to leave the Christian aspects of things. And so, without going too long-winded, I love that your book, in the first couple chapters, couple pages, bridges so many gaps where you don't have to feel like you are abandoning Jesus or abandoning Christ or the Bible or God's word. And you could still find these, you know, energy frequencies, quantum aspects of our existence and our creator. And you say the word quantum to Christians, and they're like, they haywire, like everything, just like fear is just like immediate with them. And it's like, why? Because it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be that way. You could still love Jesus while understanding the quantum element of what we are and who we are. So I love that you just bridge that gap.
Thank you. That was one of my major goals in the book, is to like bring the science camp and the religion camp kind of into like a little cross, get the Venn diagram thing, the overlap, you know?
You do it, dude. You do it. You do it. We need both. People are too afraid. They're too afraid of what the quantum means to them, and they think that it means that they must abandon these other principles, and that's just not even the case. And so my soul has always, you know, innately known this. I never really walked it. And so your book really has helped me and is helping me just walk that and understanding the science aspect of who we are, and the mathematical aspect of who we are and what we are.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
You have science and spirituality, and you merge it and you have divinity.
Nice.
And that scares people for some reason, which is, it's wild to me. I don't know, but I mean, here we are. It's
interesting. On page 33, Jaclyn, it's just pertinent to what you just said. I'm reading at the bottom, just coincidentally said, you're saying, I believe that the man Jesus really did have 12 men as his disciples, but what if the 12 disciples are also a metaphor for the 12 systems of the body, and or the 12 pairs of the cranial nerves that effectively connect our computer, our brain, to all senses. And then you just go on, what if Christ doubled as a metaphor for the pineal gland? So
Love that.
Christ consciousness, Krishna, there's so many, interception, like integration of all the things that you've said in the book, and you explore all the religions, all the examples, especially it's on page 33 if anyone's interested in that, and there's a whole host of information that you have written, and it's just blown my mind away, so
tailing on that, I mean, the Bible's almost painfully obvious about that. Christ is something that happens outside of your head. The raising of Christ happens inside of your head. When the pineal gets activated, it produces DMT. There's a book in the recommended references called God Man, and it's written in 1921 by a medical doctor, by an MD, and he goes, that's where I learned about these parallel isms. It's about 120-page book, 110 pages. It's a great read. Check that out. I think it's George Washington Carver, I think is his name. And then there's another book called Is God a Mathematician by Mario Livio. I think, Jaclyn, I think you'd like those two books as a tail on to what I've written.
Okay.
But I mean, if you think about it, what's Golgotha mean in Aramaic? Golgotha means skull. That's where Jesus was supposedly crucified. What's the other one? Calvary. If you hear abortion people talking about body parts, they call the skull the calvarium. Calvary is Latin or Greek for skull. So it's all about the skull. It's all about, it's blatant. It's right there.
I love it.
Damn.
I know we need to get, what we should do? We have to do is get Charlie connected with Johnny.
yes.
I mean, those two minds to me would, and Nick too, because your mind works so beautifully this way too. It would just be, that would be an amazing conversation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Be a great
I think Johnny
podcast.
owns your book. I'm pretty sure Johnny owns your book. He's a great friend of, I guess, and he's a friend of all of ours. And we should really connect you, Charlie, to him, because this is his line of thinking, and he goes so in depth with everything that you're saying here, and it's amazing.
Maybe we could start a WhatsApp group where we can sort of get our network sewn together a little tighter.
Yeah, we do. Your word, what you're doing, your book, it really needs to be out there to more people. And so I'm super, because I do have to jump off, but I am really, really honored to meet you. I want to see your book in more homes. I really think that will answer so many questions for people just in their spiritual journey, and Christians who are questioning things. I really, really do. So I'm really excited for you, Charlie. I think you're doing an amazing things.
Thank you so much. You make complete. If you're the only person I talked to today, I just had a great day. Believe me.
Good.
That's why I wanted to bring her on board, both.
I'm delighted. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
so
I really
welcome.
wanted her to
God bless you.
Yeah, so
Thank
Jaclyn,
you.
I'll speak
I'll
to you
hop off, but I love you all.
Love you right
Love
back.
you.
later.
See ya.
Wow, there is so much that
That's awesome.
we covered with just the book itself, but let's just continue the presentation and just a couple of questions that we have before we wrap up, because there is quite a lot of things that I'd like to cover before we draw the show to an end. But yeah, so this was in Jerusalem.
Yes. I just thought I looked up Mark 11:11 and I found it funny it was talking about going to Jerusalem. It was 22 degrees when I was there. How about that?
Wow. That's wild.
I'm on the Mount of Olives right there.
33 and 13 at the bottom as well, and I was just reading that part in the book.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and Jesus lived to the age of 33, and your vertebral column has 33 vertebrae too.
Boom.
11 plus 11 plus 11.
Yeah.
And the skull is composed of 22 bones that fuse together like puzzle pieces. 22, 11 plus 11. Calvary.
Mm-hmm.
You see the significance of the birth time and your life path number, Nick.
Yep.
It's like it holds so much significance on different facets, and the parallels that if we were to like just go into them through the eyes of this book, there's like a series, and not a documentary because it's just too much information to put in 1 hour. This would be kind of compartmentalized into like a Netflix series. Obviously, we wouldn't put it on there, but yeah.
So I created the Western Wall for peace, and I came back to the hotel the next morning, and all the butter packets had 11/11 of 20 expiration date on them, every single one of them.
And
The
then
very next morning.
look at the number, Nick, 1555, 155.
That's so cool.
I have to share this. I
Yeah.
have to share this
And
story.
the phone numbers, if you look close enough on the phone numbers all have a 777 in it. If you look right at the tip of my cursor, there's 777 there too. On every
Wow.
one.
Oh yeah. Wow. Damn, what a sign.
I about cried. I didn't know if I was gonna cry or laugh when I saw that. Here's
Right?
I went to Olive Garden in 2020, shortly after my wife walked out on me, and I went and got some stuff. I didn't think about what the price was. I didn't realize it was in spot 11. It was COVID, and they had to serve you outside. They decided to print the receipt at 722, and the bottom at the total here came to 2222.
Wow.
That's at Olive Garden in Boston.
11 there at the top. Wow.
And I went to the other Olive Garden at Gethsemane, the original Olive Garden in Jerusalem. Guess what? 22 olive trees.
Cool.
Wow. Hey, do my 1 second.
What in the world? This security guy. The security guy told me that there's 22 trees in there. I couldn't believe it.
Cool.
Huh?
I mean, the coincidences, you just can't make it up, can you?
No.
There is such a phenomenon out there on so many platforms, people speaking about this in so many different ways, different contexts, and it just fascinates me to see the sort of connection of everything. And I just feel divinity and the divine orchestration of having the eyes, the real eyes, to see things in their patterns, in their sequences, in their synchronicities. But there is divinity, the hand of God at everything that we're doing. And you've got the unbelievable intricacies to be able to see this, Charlie.
Nice. And here's the Hebrew alphabet showing 2 columns of 11 and 11 for 22 letters. And the top floor of my hotel was 22nd floor. That's the whole panel right there.
And there you go.
Here's I'm getting into some extra material here. I'm kind of off the Israel soapbox here at the moment. This is Prince Charles giving his World Economic Forum speech with a logo behind his head was a crown that has 3 groups of 6 blooms, 666.
Mm.
The Queen's funeral had 22 families, royal families invited. The people that let's see, the yeomans were the military guard there. They have to serve for at least 22 years in the military. The Queen's casket left Buckingham Palace to go to Westminster Hall for burial at exactly 2:22 p.m. And the Queen had 17 days of mourning.
So a lot of these numbers, like 666, like you've just now explained the timing of the Queen's funeral, and obviously with what's transpired in this movement over these 3 years and the revelations we've had about, let's say, the royal family and the nefarious kind of energies behind them and the actions that we know or we've researched. And it's interesting how these numbers tally up with even the synchronization of that. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think there's a certain aspect of maybe almost a ritual mocking that
Right.
they want us to know that all their moves are calculated, I think.
This is the thing, all numbers, it's like the dark and the light, the 2 polarities, that there's so much that's been inverted over time. And things are judged as, oh, that's good, or that's bad. Oh my God, they get fear seeing 666. And it's a kind of programming that's subliminally penetrated into the psyche of humanity, especially when you're exploring down this lane of curiosity, of understanding numerology, astrology, and all the esoteric stuff. And then symbology, yeah, and applying it scientifically, mathematically. And I just think, wow, there is just too much out there where we can actually have the realize that that's where it is. There's the negative and the positive aspects to everything.
Yeah, I mean, take a 5-pointed star that's pointing up, and the 2 points going down. That represents the 5 wounds of Christ. You know, both hands, both feet, and then the side, the 5 wounds of Christ. That's what that represented originally. Now you rotate it, I think, 54 degrees. Now you got pentagram. Now the Satanists have hijacked that. Take the swastika. Normally it's a symbol of Buddhism. Turn it 45 degrees. Now you got a swastika.
Yeah, and also the star of David. It's just very, very similar to the Sri Yantra symbol, and that's one of the oldest ancient symbolism in the Sanatana Dharma, and then it became the progressive Hinduism religion. And that kind of, yeah, a lot of my Hindus will get annoyed at me saying that, but it all came from that ancient wisdom of the Sanatana, and that's one of the most important symbols. And when people see the star, again, they're like, oh, that's satanic, and everything's satanic, but it's inverted, and it's like you rightly said, it's been hijacked. But where initially did it begin? What was its roots? What was the history behind these symbols? So I've learned.
I could go into star numbers here, but I know we're getting late into the presentation here. I would like to show the prime factorization of 777. Basically, let's pop the hood on 777 and see what's in the engine. Basically, it breaks down to 3 times 7 times 37. So take the X's out of there, it's like 37 and 37. So if you go back to here, if you take 37, you can make a star, a figure eight star. You can do it with 13, 37, 73, 121. There's a whole list of numbers down there here that you can do it with that are figure eight numbers that make a 6-pointed star. But 37 is one of them. And 37 is the one that pertains to all the 111, 222, 333, down to 999. They've all got 37 in it. 777 is basically it's got 3 in it. That's the Holy Trinity. That's the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. That's the ethereal realms. In the physical realms, you've got the gaseous phase, the liquid phase, and the solid phase. In the energetic field, you've got red, green, and blue for light. So 3 is really it really is sort of a number of creation and energy in a way. 7, the number of divinity is built right in there. And then 37 is a star. It's a message that we all came from the stars. All energy comes from the stars. All life has its energy from the stars. 777.
Been seeing that for the last 3 days.
Have you? License plates?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in time.
Well, according to NASA, I talked about this in the book, but NASA's website, which I referenced down at the lower left corner, they determine, I mean, when you got those apps that tell you when lightning's going to strike or where's lightning at, it's usually cloudy, it's usually stormy. So if you're using a satellite and you got 2 miles thick of clouds, you're not going to get a really good signature if you're looking at visible light. But what they figured out is that 777 nanometer wavelength, which is infrared heat signature, that stuff passes through clouds like the cloud's not even there. A cloud is transparent to infrared energy, whereas optical band light will be reflected or absorbed or refracted or whatever. It doesn't get to sail on through the way infrared does. So that's the frequency that they have calibrated the satellites to be sensitive to when they're picking up the signature of lightning. And Revelations 4:5 says, out from the throne came flashes of lightning and sounds and peals of thunder. And there were 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God. So there's 7s, or again, the Bible, 7s and lightning. It's tying it together in the Bible. About that.
Yeah. That's
Pretty thick.
crazy. Right?
I like this one.
They put a log on real quick.
This one here, 666. I know I'm just sort of skipping one, but almost all wars are about hydrocarbon resources. Carbon has 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, and 6 protons.
This is more spoilers. All this stuff's in the book, but just spoilers for people that might be considering getting the book. This is the kind of stuff that's in there waiting for you.
No, but definitely, and we'll be having this on our social media platforms, and there's just so much information to be able to have it in like just over an hour.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Here's bonus round. Leah Thomas, the transgendered swimmer, was 22 years old. The year in 22 she was 22. She, whatever. That's when it kicked off. When the person was 22 years old. The Iranian Revolution kicked off with the killing of Mahsa Amini. She was 22, and she was born on 7/22. That started the revolution.
Oh my God.
I find it interesting that every domestic U.S. postal domestic shipment contains 22 digits in the tracking number. Count them up next time. 22. Why? We don't need that many digits. We only need 9 digits, 10 digits to give everybody a phone number, fax number, and a mobile number in the U.S. Why do we need so much more for tracking? That's enough for like 400 billion packages per person. Lee Harvey Oswald, before killing, he went to 22 different schools. The guy that killed Kennedy, supposedly.
Wow.
In 2022, Paul Pelosi blew a stop sign and was struck at a crossing by a guy named Jesus V. Lopez. Jesus V. The V is the 22nd letter. It happened at 22:22, and then the responding officer was also named Jesus. So you could say that Paul Pelosi had his coming to Jesus moment that night. I think it's fair to say.
Wow.
NASA Artemis moon rocket stands at 322 feet of height. I think that's about it. Oh yeah, here's some popular culture stuff. Elon Musk posted about 11/11. Paris Hilton, Jack. Tattoos for Jennifer Aniston. What's her name? Ellen DeGeneres did an 11/11 tattoo as well, if I'm not mistaken.
You did, huh?
Done. That's freaky because I wanted to get my 11/11 done.
Can anybody get me a meeting with Elon Musk?
What's that?
I need to get an interview with Elon Musk. I need him to promote the book.
That'd be wild.
Oh my God, you go absolutely crazy. I mean, put that out there.
I need another planet to live on if I sold that many books. Yeah, here's Amazon again. We're getting to the end here. This is my YouTube channel. You just type in at the 1111 code in the search bar, and that's it. Go to playlists and have a good time. I'm always updating new songs and interesting stuff, and just stuff to make your life better, more interesting and more fun.
Oh, yeah. So
I'm gonna stop sharing.
share.
Cool.
Oh
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, you're welcome for being patient with me. That's a lot of information.
no,
Yeah.
and I think there's just a couple of questions where I have, and we want just before we draw the show to an end. Nick, before I asked it, would you have any questions for Charlie?
Were you getting, other than the photos you showed us, any like intuitions when you're working out there in Israel? Like any kind of signs, anything that hits you on a spiritual level?
Yeah, I mean, other than the signs I showed you, the butter packets and the electricity voltages being 22, and the temperatures was a really big thing. Setting myself to centigrade, it was just amazing. I could watch Israel temperatures. I could watch temperatures back home in Chicago, temperatures in Hamburg, Germany, where my girlfriend lives, and other places where friends are. I had a friend in Tunisia, and I was just watching all those temperatures, and just amazing watching how they lined up. We, you know, we three out of 4 of us would be at 22 degrees at the same time. Okay, screenshot, sent it to all those people, and it really brought us together. Like, there's a higher power working here. The weather
there
even
is.
conspires to show God's hand to us. You know, the usual stuff. You'd be thinking about something. God, give me I'll be driving. God, hey, God, give me a sign that this XYZ problem in my life is going to get resolved. And within 60 seconds, a car comes flying by with an 1111 license plate or a 777 license plate. Stuff like that. If God is going to speak, he has to pick a language. What language would you choose? Well, numbers is something that all humans share in common. But we all use 1 through 9. I mean, he could leave messages in Aramaic or Hebrew or Hindi or whatever, but only those people would understand it. But with numbers, it's something anybody can grab. And I think that's why God/universe/spirit uses numbers as a way to communicate with us, because I think there's a rule: it can't verbally speak, it doesn't have a mouth. I think we are the mouth for God. We are the mouths of God. So we do the speaking. It gives us the message through spirit. That's kind of how it works for me, at least.
Yeah, that's sort of leading to the question that I had, is all these synchronicities, numerology, and what does it mean? How does it connect us? But I think essentially, if we hear and everything that you said in today's show, and then we go into your book, and then our personal experiences that we have on a day-to-day, it's an energetic transaction. You've just asked God, show me a sign. Is it mere coincidence, or is this the divinity at play that is just so magnificent that we are so tapped in more than we realize? And once we start asking those questions and exploring that curiosity, is it a coincidence that we see those numbers? I don't think so, because I started questioning that about myself in 2015, especially when it was my first insights into seeing these numbers just everywhere. It just started in the sequences, the numerical patterns, and then asking the questions: what am I supposed to know here? What outside myself am I supposed to see? What am I supposed to hear? And it's and it's that interconnection, first of all, with ourselves. So we're seeing it first. And when we're hearing things and we're hearing conversations pertinent to this, we're leaving messages for each other. Oh my God, wow, it was this many minutes, this many seconds. Yeah. So there is a divine orchestration at play here. I truly believe that. And especially when you ask, ask and you shall receive. It's like, I need to know something. I'm not clear about this situation. Please, God, just a simple energetic request, show me a sign. And I normally get the answers through numerology. Nice. And this whole new age thing that's going on in social media, I mean, I think everything is just a co-creation of people's thoughts and how they're interpreting it at the esoteric level. So I just start thinking, oh, I see 7/7. Then suddenly I'm on social media, and it's like, are they intercepting my thoughts? Because I'm now seeing it. Can they hear me when I talk about it? What is going on? So we know something goes on with our social media and everything that they can hear that we're speaking about. But then I think, okay, that's that. But what about the coincidences, the receipts? The things that you see on contracts, or the
reference numbers on bills and stuff.
Numbers and all these kind of things. So there's so much to it. There's so much depth. But I just think, God's here right now. He heard.
Never 2 or more are gathered in his name, he's present. For
sure. Wow. Well, I think we've covered quite a lot. I think this your book needs to be made into a documentary. There's so much there to explore on that whole mathematical, scientific kind of interpretation. In the Sanatana Dharma, or the Vedic ancient wisdom, Vedic science is huge, and numerology played a massive, massive part, far beyond my comprehension and ability to explain. But I've seen here on page 42 where you talk about a bit about, the Hinduism and the numbers that reflect so much in ancient wisdom. So I just wanted to briefly speak to that. But and it's you've written a Kalpa.
Sorry,
measure of time defined as 16 million years.
Oh, Kalpa, yeah.
Culpa, yes, and Culpa, my name, with just a K in the beginning. So a lot of information, Nick. Charlie, thank you for being here. And as we close, Charlie, what would you like to leave our audience with today? We know where to find you on social. All the links will be below. I encourage everyone to look into this. You know, if you're curious and you want to hear other perspectives from a different parallel, a different perspective, please buy this book, support Charlie. So much gnosis there. So yeah, over to you, Charlie, on a closing note.
Oh, appreciate everything, Alpa and Nick. It's been really great hanging out with you guys for a little bit here. To everybody listening, all of us on this show, we're not come here to get rich. We're here to help humanity. We're here to help our brothers and sisters figure our way out of this mess and maybe earn a little bit of a living. And we do this from our hearts as a joy. You can see we really love what we do. And I would say in terms of all the turmoil and political unrest and instability in the world, ask yourself, are you involved in any of that, or are you protected from it? I think most of us, the answer is that's not our karma. We're safe at home. We're safe in our jobs. Our families are safe. We're not affected. It's people who have the bad karma that are getting most of that. But just pray for peace, replace fear with trust, replace fear with faith, and we'll get through this together. We'll get through it.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Amen.
God bless you all.
Nick.
God bless you. Thanks for sharing everything. Yeah.
Brother.
Yeah,
Let's keep this conversation open. Let's do this again.
definitely.
Okay.
And add to what you said there, just everyone watching, it's true, so much is going on, so many various opinions, so much kind of unrest in the world at the moment. My heart goes out to everyone that is suffering right now. Doesn't matter what religion you are, what background you come from. This huge divide and conquer psyop that's been at play for millions of years, and just dividing humanity through these agendas and this stuff that's going on in the media about Palestine, Israel. I think, go in your hearts, and love really truly is the answer, but it's not stopping these atrocities that are happening everywhere in Palestine, in Israel. Innocent people are dying, all in the name of religion, war, and we're seeing this. It's been happening time and time again, and it really disturbs me to see what's going on in social media, where people are attacking their brothers and sisters just based on their race, or their views, or their opinions. And that is exactly what they want us to be doing, fighting each other, that we forget to go inward and see who we are. And this is a war on human consciousness, on humanity at so many levels. The spiritual warfare that's going on. So it's the fangs are out of the demons at the moment. And we're at kind of the thick of this great awakening. We knew that this, the 2020, bring it down to 22. There's a reason that it happened in 2020, so that people start opening their eyes, and it was a catalyst for this awakening. But now, 3 years on, and where we are, I have been attacked quite a bit for not posting on the political unrest and the horrific things that have been going on in both Palestine and Israel, and the expectations of what we as truthers should and shouldn't be doing. We're all fighting our own battles behind the scenes and doing what we can, like you just said. So everyone out there, just if there's uncertainty, fear, anxiety that's going on energetically, exactly what you said, Charlie, the faith and implicit faith in God is where it's at. And where if you really go into that energy, I certainly find peace there, but sometimes I just can't even open social media because so much is going on. So anyway, a bit of a ramble on there, but I think it was pertinent to what we're going through as a collective. But this will be on the 11th. So happy 11/11 to everyone that's watching this. I love you all. Thank you for supporting me in my journey and the various twists and turns. Please support Charlie, and also obviously Ari. Go check out Ari and Good Lion. We have just a quick announcement. We've got the launch of our new 15 mil bottles for both the RE autism support and the detox, and there's going to be some great bundles out for Christmas and little packages and all sorts of wonderful things. So, and we're revamping the website, so be patient with us while we do that. And without I think I've said enough. Lots of love to you all, and happy 11/11.